Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our weekly update. We're just getting back in the swing of things. If you saw us last week, we finally have a couple of us talking to each other and giving you some more information. So that's been a nice change. It's good to be back. Jennifer's with me here again this week. She's going to talk about some questions she's been getting regarding certification credit opportunities.
Yeah, thanks. It's good to have you back, Kevin.
Sure.
So I've been getting, I'd say more than a few calls from growers out there who you had that extension during that COVID period, that little grace period with your recertification credits, and now that is up. So they're looking to find out where they can get credits for the recertification of their pesticide applicator license. We do have a couple opportunities. I don't know when your deadline is. If your deadline is this year, you'll have 13 opportunities, hopefully with our coffee pot meetings that we have during the growing season. They are tentatively scheduled to start in May. That does have to get approved from the DEC, but as long as we give them enough notice, they're usually pretty good about that. So we'll get that back to you once we find out. Every year we've done it thus far though, so you can look forward to that. If you need to get them before that, there are a couple ways in New York State that you can do that. Number one is we are joining forces with the Finger Lakes great program this year at the BEV conference. You can get 2 credits at the BEV conference, and all of that information you should be receiving by next week at the latest, or you can just go to the BEV website and register for that now. But we will be sending out a newsletter on that coming up soon, hopefully by the end of this week. The other one is, and I will put it in this week's crop update, is there is a listing, and I'm going to share my screen so that you can see it, that the DEC has put out. And these are all approved online recertification training courses for New York in 2021. You can see it has a course name here. Some of them may not interest you, but it's still an online way of getting your pesticide credits, the course number, how many credits you can get, and of course the categories. There's core and individual categories on there. So there are places online. If you're in a pinch to get your pesticide recertification training courses down, I will have that in this week's crop update. There's the BEV conference coming up. That's March 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And if you're looking for them for Pennsylvania, I know in last crop update that went out, Andy of areas where you can get those for your PA credits. But Kevin, do you happen to have that in front of you?
So the PMAP program in Pennsylvania, which is part of which you can find on the Penn State website, will link you to some of those programs, and some of those were put together by extension educators. The one thing I did want to share is that it is starting to get a little bit tricky for some PA growers depending on timing. Unlike in New York where you recertify I think it's 5 years. In Pennsylvania, it is every 3 years. So, if you rely on in-person training and the timing of it was wrong, and, we go 2 growing seasons without a whole lot of opportunities for in-person training, that's 2/3 of your period. That's a little tricky. So to get it online, it's definitely doable. You only need 16 credits in Pennsylvania, which is 8 hours of training in your 3-year cycle. So if you had any going forward, or if you just want to wait until we're back to in person, if you got lucky and you're timing it right, that's certainly going to be practical. It's very similar in Pennsylvania. There is a lot of the conferences are moving online and are occurring right now. There's one today. So you probably missed that one by the time you see this. But there are definitely opportunities, and Andy puts those in the crop update as well. So I guess I would just encourage you to try to get as many as you can in person when you can, if you do, prefer to get it that way. Same for New York growers, I would guess. Do you know, Jennifer, if we have applied or if anybody has applied for credits for BEV for PA?
I do know that Andy has all of that information to do so.
Okay, so then I would expect that would be 4 credits. It might only be 3.5. There have been some issues with online approvals being a little bit less in Pennsylvania.
Do they get twice the credits we get in New York?
If it's in person, it was traditionally always twice the credits, but it seems like online, they may look very closely at the agenda and reduce it for partial topics if some of that is not deemed to be recertification.
Oh.
We saw a little bit more of that, I think, with our coffee pot meetings last year. So yes, traditionally speaking, if it really is a half an hour of education, then it's a whole credit. So the 16 credits typically take 8 hours to get. It'll take a little bit longer online, it seems like, because they're looking pretty closely at where that agenda goes and maybe only giving you, 45 minutes worth of education for an hour-long talk if there's some things in there that aren't related.
Got it. So we will be supplying that list, at least for New York. You will have that in this week's crap update. And the links will be there for you to go out and look at that as well.
All right, thanks a lot. Yeah, and that's, I think that the nice thing about that New York list, it's not to say that Pennsylvania doesn't have a list. New York has always had a list, but both in Pennsylvania and that previous list in New York, it's very difficult to try to find most or all of the opportunities in one place. And that's what you'll struggle with in PA. That's what you used to struggle with in New York until somebody put this together. I'm guessing going forward, it's going to be difficult to maintain this list because there are just so many ways to get credits. So even this probably won't be all inclusive. Honestly, there are so many ways to get credits. It can be a problem to try to articulate that when we get a phone call about a grower needing credits really quickly. And there's not really one place we can go to and say definitively, sorry, your credits are due tomorrow, and there's nowhere to get that done today. Oftentimes there is, and we miss it, even though, there's only 1 or 2 days notice. But that being said, the easy solution is to, plan in advance and then take, some educational credits that are more related to your field of interest. But
yeah. Well, and the weather's supposed to be extremely cold coming up this next week. So you may have time to sit by the fire, sit at the table, watch some of these courses and bang out your credits.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us again this week. If you have any questions or comments, remember, we are always here, at least virtually. Give us a call, email us, shoot a comment. We can address issues in our next podcast or with you directly. It does not matter. But we always appreciate communication from you guys. So again, thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Have a great week.